And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, each and every day here on LRN.FM network. You know, we have a great show. I want to make sure you guys, if you didn't get all of it, make sure you get the beginning. If you can't do the whole end, go back to the archive and get it, because there's a lot of good information you're going to get today. We have Karen Kwiatkowski on, and we put up, I made the comment when we were just going to break, that Jesse Ventura was here in Arizona, and Sierra's going to go ahead and put it up on the screen right now. And I'm going to show you the article. We're going to have it embedded in today's archive. We're going to have, you can go see this. I'm not kidding. He goes, C.I.A. embedded in the state capitals. What they do is they want to keep track. You know, I'm not even sure that's legal. You know, Karen, would that be legal, or are they just sitting there watching, reporting? How would you classify that?
Well, you know, I don't think the CIA is supposed to be used domestically. You know, I mean, I don't think that's in its charter. But you know, if they have identified somebody as a potential domestic terrorist, then I guess they can go do stuff. So I'm not saying they identified Jesse that way, but you know, I can't imagine. You know, it doesn't seem right, but you know, nothing that Washington does is lawful. We really have a hard time finding a single thing that they do on a day-to-day basis that is in the Constitution in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, go ahead and, Sierra, go ahead and look for, I think, We Are Change Arizona is the one that put it up, Drew. Yeah, the one that we put up, we clicked on it, and it goes, this video has been removed by user. Yeah, I'm right. So we're going to go ahead and get that, because we have the original video. If we have to, we'll put it on our own servers, because I guarantee you, oh, heck no, they don't want that one out there. So we're going to go ahead and get that taken care of, because we can. Now, by having that possibility, we go, where would they put these people? It's always where the rubber meets the road, where policy meets legislation, you know, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So it's called the Legislative Council, okay? They're the staff the attorneys that actually put it together. You know, you'll do whatever, and then they'll change it. You know, and we went through this, every step of this gold coin medallion thing, you know, commemorative medallion, every step of that. Now, a big part of it was to be minted in sufficient quantity to supply all public demand. That was the one they kept changing that. And it doesn't matter what they voted for on the floor. Now, Senator Karen Johnson, you know, she was co-chair for Ron Paul's campaign in 2008 here in Arizona. So this was before that even started in 2007. That's why I introduced her to the campaign. I'm going, look, man, she's on the line with us. You know, she understands this monetary thing. So we did this as a mechanism for the state to be able to legally mint gold. Now, it was just commemorative. You know, if it happens to be worth, $1,500 to you, that's your thing. You know,
exactly.
So we did this, and in denominations. It could be in various denominations also, and silver and copper. So once we got this, they didn't really see what was going on. It was like unanimous. The only guy that voted against it was somebody that overheard that we wrote it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then Janet Napolitano signed it in, so ready to go. Now that they're starting to mint, they want to put limits on the production. Oh, it's too expensive. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? It's all prepaid. I said, okay, we'll change it. Put prepaid public demand. What do you care?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we started to realize that the other interest, you know, C.I.A., the New World Empire, Military Industrial Order of, you know, agent guy. I mean, whoever are in there controlling the actual verbiage of legislation, regardless of what got voted on the floor.
Yep.
They keep changing it. And we knew they would do this because they had done it in years past. So I said, Karen, every time you get it back, every stage of this, have us come down and we'll look for two things. Denominations, more than one size of coin, up to 1 ounce, and in sufficient quantity, all public demand. Every single step, those two things were changed. no matter what was voted on. So
that
when you have Jesse Ventura coming in saying, hey, man, the CIA, they're pulling me down, talking, whatever. I'm going, I can see where this is going. So now we have you in the Pentagon. You have raw intelligence, some of it, massaged. You have, it's edited. You got other analysts going through what you get it, and you're right there with the policymakers. Here comes Feith. Here's Rumsfeld. Cheney's got leashes in there somewhere. You got all these guys, and the same exact thing was happening, and they were expecting you to play along. Karen says,
and not just me, all of the folks that were basically the non-political military, non-political career civilians who are in the business of putting forth the best compilation of fact, all of them were expected to play along if it was something that they were interested in rewording, and that happened to be all the Middle East stuff for sure. I can't speak to other issue areas, but certainly in terms of the Middle East, they had a party line, and if your work, anybody's work who had anything to say about terrorism, WMD, or Iraq did not fall into that party line, it was you either had to rewrite it or they would rewrite it for you. And that's just, this is a control of the input. And none of it has to do with truth. It all has to do with propaganda. And we, in effect, and I think this is one of the reasons that I and a number of other of the staff officers there were very angry, we were being made to be propagandists. And our good name, if we had a good name, which really we didn't, was signed on to this propaganda, not truth, but shaping of policy. And the policy had been predetermined. And of course, it's well known that the invasion of Iraq had been asked for and planned, the plan revised multiple times, even a year ahead of time. So this was something we were going to do. And in the summer of 2002, they decided, well, maybe now we ought to sell it to the American people. And they tried to sell it. And they made a bunch of lies doing that, which, of course, every one of those lies have been recognized by many people at the time, but now known by the American people.
Well,
we realized how they did it.
Did
it
make
make a difference? And it didn't. And the weird thing is, it didn't stop. It didn't stop these long-term occupations, very expensive and very unproductive. Certainly not related to any articulated objective of the United States. It didn't stop that at all. Didn't bring the troops home. And we're apparently expanding our mission in the Middle East.
To be what?
Well, expanding it to North Africa, number one. And what is that mission? Yeah, I don't know. I have my own theories, about what I think we're doing. I think, we want military bases so we can basically do a couple of things.
Okay. Now this is where we're going. We're going to hit a break a little bit here, and I want to make sure I get to this one point.
Okay.
Libya. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we were going in, while you sat there, okay, this is kind of in your area up here, we have Libya was seen as what before 9/11? At that time, were they good guys, bad guys? They keep going back and forth. They pay their $10 million deal, and all of a sudden they're our buddies now, and Condoleezza Rice is welcoming them back in and giving them a big wet one. Yeah. So I'm going, what was it then? On the horizon?
The time before 9/11, Libya was a bad guy. In the run-up to the invasion of Iraq, Libya was a really bad guy. In fact, Libya was one of the countries I had to write on, and I remember one very specific instance, and I wrote about it in both Salon and the American Conservative, where a paper that I wrote on Libya got turned back to me by my immediate supervisor, who worked for Bill Lutey, and he's not even, he's a military guy too, and he said, they're not going to buy this, and I said, well, it's completely factual. It's nothing but a bunch of, it's quotes from the intelligence. This guy is not very, and what my thing was is that Libya is what the president agreed he was in 2004, not doing a nuclear program. But our intelligence told us that anyway, well before. So I'm repeating this, saying, no, we have to make Libya is one of the terrorist bad guys. You've got to pump this up. And I said, I can't make up stuff for nothing. So finally the guy told me, he said, look, Karen, send me the trons, send me the electrons, give me the digital file, and I will rewrite it in the way that it will be accepted by the people who apparently don't want my advice.
Oh, anyway. See how this works? This is how it works. When we come back, we got the file, one of the files that we had, because we have it, of Jesse Ventura on video telling it how it really works. We'll go ahead and start off with that when we come back here on Declare Your Independence with Karen Kwiatkowski in just a little bit.